Education's Art Room Hacks. Today's episode is about embroidery and sewing hacks that can make teaching them so much easier. I'm Elle Ashworth and I teach secondary art in Tampa, Florida. Often when we use thinner fabric in an embroidery hoop, the fabric shifts and shimmies and it causes our students to find their stitches and tension very inconsistent, and this can be really disappointing. This quick fix allows the hoop to remain highly functional and a little bit more aesthetic. Here's how you're going to start. Find a piece of fabric that's about your arm's length. Cut it in a strip that's about 1 inch wide. Remove the interior hoop away from the exterior hoop. Just start wrapping around. Just make sure you're layering over each other. As you come back to where you began, go ahead and wrap over in that area one more time and then grab a needle and thread and put some anchoring stitches in there. I usually do 2 to 3. Knot it off, and then if the end's flapping about, go ahead and cut it off. Voila! Now your students have a taut piece of fabric to embroider on every time. Soap is an easy and inexpensive tool for sewing hacks. A few years ago, I stopped using tailor's chalk. It's brittle, super fragile, and at the end of the day, it's dust, so it's really inefficient. And so I started using soap. I have my students hack off a piece, and they use that sliver to create cut lines and/or seam allowances. And as you can imagine, it's really easy to wash out. Oftentimes when my students are using 2 to 3 layers of canvas, trying to pin it can be arduous. And so if they just run the pin around the surface of the soap, that pin glides right in and is secure and is not bent when we're done sewing. Another way I have my students use it is to prevent knotting and snagging in their thread. They just go ahead and take that sliver of soap and drag their piece of embroidery floss or their thread right along the surface, and it is very slick and prevents knotting in any manner, shape, or form. Last fall, I got a text from a former student in officer training for the Marine Corps. He texted to tell me that his Gideon, which is his flag, was torn and needed to be repaired ASAP as they were due on the field in about an hour. The person who was carrying the Gideon didn't know how it was torn and didn't know how to repair it. He was one of 50 people who knew how to sew. He grabbed a needle and thread and quickly got to work with a whip stitch to bring his platoon's flag back to its former glory. He said people were calling him a sewing hero. That's why I love sewing. It connects fibers and people. We know our students oftentimes struggle with the proverbial white piece of paper. It's no different than a white piece of fabric in an embroidery hoop. Where do I begin? What am I doing? How am I doing this? So a few years ago, I tried to take away this point of anxiety. I asked my students to explore 7 basic embroidery stitches in class. After they did that, they were going to pick 4 out of the 7 that they really dug and find 2 more outside of our 7 that we explored in the classroom to go above and beyond. Once they had those 6 stitches cumulatively that they were going to do for the second phase of this technical research, I asked them to go over to the fabric bin and pull out a piece of fabric that had a print on it. What happened was pretty magical. My students suddenly were working with confidence and joy and had this power of exploration that they didn't have on the white fabric. That's pretty magical, right? So when you look at the samples, know that this creates a really fun way to explore embroidery. Sewing is one of my favorite mediums because it's a universal language in our daily lives. It draws attention to just how much is sewn in the world and how other cultures sew. It's a wonderful exploration of process, adornment, and cultural nuances. Keeping yarn from unwinding or becoming tangled with other yarn can often be a challenge. Find the end of your skein or ball and go ahead and clip a barrette into it. It's so easy. That curve is a natural fit and it stays tight. The other thing I do is I use the tissue boxes, and tissue boxes allow me to stack the yarn for storage. And so what you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and take the tissue box and take it apart on one side. Once you've got it apart, go ahead and grab that hole punch and shimmy it in and give it a couple clicks. I usually put 2 or 3 holes in the box. Then take the yarn and feed it through the hole. Grab one of your clips and clip it on so it doesn't fall back through. Then what you're going to do is you're going to tape your box back together. And now your yarn is under your control. Check out Pro Learning to make bringing sewing to your students as easy as possible. Pro has several packs of professional development videos all about fibers, but here's 2 great ones to get you started. Bring hand sewing into the art room and sewing basics in the art room. Click on the link in the description box for more. Threading a needle can be infuriating, and licking the embroidery floss or thread is just gross. Here's a fantastic hack for threading needles quickly and successfully each time. I have students take off a small piece of tape and they go ahead and wrap the end of the fiber. Then they're going to take a pair of scissors and they're going to cut really severe point. Then that point will be fed through the eye of the needle. I just have them cut the end of the tape off. If tape isn't your jam, let's try paper. A scrap piece will work and you don't need a very big piece. Go ahead and fold the paper in half and then put the thread inside the crease. Leave the end hanging out about 1 inch to 1/2 inch. Then go ahead and grab those scissors again and create another point and make it pretty severe. Then you're going to take that point and you're going to thread it through the eye of the needle. This works with embroidery needles, this works with small sewing needles, and then you're going to go ahead and tear off that piece of paper and there you go, your needle's threaded. Do you have an embroidery blob like me? Well, this next set of hacks is going to set you free. There are a couple ways that we can deal with embroidery. Some of you and your students may prefer to keep the embroidery floss in skeins. And as you probably know, just yanking an end can end in disaster. If you're going to keep it in the skein, find the paper wrapper that has the number on it and pull straight out from that end. Normally, this will prevent any snags moving forward. I'm a highly organized person and I like my students to put the embroidery floss on the card, and therein lies the problem. Very tricky. And so I've developed a process that allows my students to get the embroidery floss on the card so easy that my middle school students do it successfully. Slip one of the tabs off and gently open the floss up and find the middle, and then pull the other tab off, and then take your non-dominant hand and go ahead and put it into the new floss bracelet you just made. Find the end of the floss, go ahead and put that on the card. And speaking of cards, I use the plastic cards instead of the paper ones because they have such a longer lifespan. And then go ahead and wrap on the card and voila, you've an organized embroidery floss. If you are looking for finer floss, meaning you only want a few strands, this can also be complicated. Go ahead and cut it to the length that you want, and instead of pulling the fibers apart, go ahead and pull them straight out. 1 strand, 3 strands, just pull it straight up and you will have success every time. And the students can do it quickly and easily. Crisp corners. A sign of craftsmanship when you're sewing. Using a pencil and dowel to get a crisp corner in your sewing can lead to punctures in the fabric. To avoid this, you're going to need a needle and a thread and a corner you want to be crisp. The fabric should be made inside out. You're going to clip a 45-degree angle off the corner first. Next, you're going to thread the needle and knot it. Go in from the inside, piercing the one side, and then loop it around the corner that you've clipped and go back through the other side, exiting the fabric. Now, turn the fabric right side out and go ahead and give a little tug to the thread. Presto, you have a beautiful crisp corner. We'd love for you to like this video if you enjoyed it and subscribe for more hacks. Tell us down below, what are your favorite sewing hacks? You won't want to miss the next episode. It's on painting. Bye, stay tuned. See you in the next episode.